three basic types of fasting. Okay? We have the partial fast. It has another name. We call it Daniel fast. That's somebody that practices it. We attach names to them, you know. Daniel fast. If somebody is doing that, he's not eating food, but they're eating fruits and vegetables. Okay, sometimes they call it vegetable fast or fruit fast. Then we have the complete fast, the total fast. Because the word total is used in many books, I actually think that word total should not be for this. Yeah, because sometimes it creates confusion to the people we are communicating. But what fast is this? Is the water fast. This is the fast where you drink only water. And it's also called the Jesus fast. It's to help us understand what Jesus did when he went to fast. Yes, at the end of his fast, he was thirsty. He was hungry. He wasn't thirsty because he was drinking water. And I believe that's for our good that he set that example. Okay, then there is the ultimate fast. This is dry fast. No water, no food. So, this is the Esther fast. You read about Esther and the fast they declared. Yes. And they did that for 3 days. Look at Jesus' fast. Luke 4:2. Being 40 days tempted of the devil, in those days he did eat nothing. He didn't say he didn't drink anything. Okay. Now, the ultimate fast is usually called the Moses fast. The reason I don't want to use Moses as an example of that is that I don't want many of you going copying what he did. The man actually stayed 40 days without food and water, and if you do it, you will die. Yes. Because the ultimate fast in the Bible, people don't do it more than 3 days. Anybody that is going more than 3 days must introduce water. Nobody does more than 3 days without water. It is against biblical law, or you end up having health hazard. You die. You damage your life. And, because we're teaching this now, in raising pastors, in raising, there were people who thought they knew more than us. We have 30-something years of experience behind what we're telling you now. And usually they think they know, I want to do what Moses did. Show it to them all. Show it to them now. There's a reason why Jesus did not do that. Because he's our example. It's the reason he didn't do that. And I will tell you why Moses did not die. It's very simple. If you have that condition, like, which one do you want to? You want to try Exodus 34? There are so many. It was recorded at least twice. Okay, Moses went into the midst of the cloud and got him up on top of the mountain. And Moses was in the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. If you have this situation, tangible glory crowd, and you move into it, you can produce the same result. Yes, because what you have done is that you have entered eternity. God came down with angels, and Moses was invited up to go and have discussion with him. But he didn't come down with earth's atmosphere. He came down with the atmosphere of eternity. He came down with that. There's a lady that was preaching, Marian Woodward Etta. And in the middle of her preaching, the glory came in, and she got frozen, standing in one place with her hands up. And the people in the congregation, her eyes stayed the way it was, and her hand up, and she was frozen right there. The people were watching. They knew something. And then the glory of God even came into the meeting. And people were being healed, but the woman is no more talking. She's frozen. So people started going to town. The news went to town. The crowd doubled. Then it tripled. But then a whole day when she was still standing there. 2 days when she was still standing there. 3 days went. The day she got unfrozen, she continued the message exactly where she stopped. And to her, nothing has happened. It was that people were telling her that 3 days have passed. In the realm, the other realm where she was caught up, it was just some seconds. Because in that realm, there is no death. So Moses went inside the cloud, got on top of the mountain, and Moses was on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. Add verse 19. Let me see if he... And the Lord spoke with him during that period. Now, go to 34. Go to other records where he said that he ate nothing and drank nothing. I want them to see it. Now, this fast should have been the Moses fast. Some preachers make the mistake of using that Moses whatever. It is disastrous if you recommend that to people. Because he's the only person that did it. The only. There are 4 records of people fasting 40 days in the Bible. Elijah did it. Moses did it. Jesus did it. One more person did it. I'll tell you. You might be surprised. There's an additional person that did it. He's a king. But listen, every other person was drinking water. It was only Moses that didn't test water. If it's a recommended standard, Jesus would have shown us. Because fasting is supposed to benefit your physical health. I'm sure you heard Pastor Ben, how your body detoxifies when you are doing it. Now, failure to drink water, that does not happen. Try your toilet and keep going. Don't flush and see what happens. That's what happens to your body when you're not drinking water. Whenever I finish fasting, I lose years. It's like you reset the clock. I go back. Everything, I lose years. Even every sense in your body is heightened. Including your taste buds. If you eat the normal food you used to eat after a fast, the taste is three times heightened. Your normal food is sweeter until after a while the taste bud starts getting coated again. Then it drops. So vision is heightened. Everything. That's why when we do the final review tomorrow, you see medical doctors. Dr. Tanner, for example, I know a number of other doctors who also use it as healing therapy. But they watch the individuals. They put them under and watch them as their body. They put it through water fast, some juice. Get to a point. Some of those things in the body vanish without any medicine. There are healing homes that use that. Of course, these homes are set up by doctors. Dr. Tanner, when he brought up the 40 days fast revolution, published a book on it. I have the book. There was uproar within the American medical. Then he first did, with a few others followed him. And he listed the benefits. Then a lot of doctors started following him. Many of those people that went through that lived to their 90s, they are the ones that published that fasting will definitely increase your lifespan by a minimum of 20 to 25 years. Medical science, a minimum of 20 to 25 years. So it is not less of food that kills us, it's too much eating. It's too much eating. Especially in the nights. So look at Moses. He was there 40 days and 40 nights. He did eat. He neither ate bread nor drank water. This is very dangerous. But if God also appears and his Shekinah glory is present, you can do it. Because that thing suspends the law of nature. And if Jesus had gone without water, he would have set a very bad example, and a lot of Christians will be dying because they will be trying to copy him. But he took water because even if you're God in the flesh, the human side. Yes, he was a human being. He was drinking water. And then when you practice fasting that way, you get both physical and spiritual results. Okay? Okay. 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 So dry fast. Put it up. Esther said, fast for me. If you want to do it, this is my advice for you. Don't cross 3 days. Gather all the Jews that are present in Shushan, fast for me, neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, so I will go into the king. Now you will see, with this dry fast, 3 days of it, you will achieve what the man doing ultimate fast, maybe 7 days or whatever. He's like, that's what I was trying to correct when they were saying all fastings have benefits. But you see, okay, let me give you, if there is a very terrible crisis here, maybe somebody is dying or whatever, this man takes 40 days fast, drinking water, to save that situation. This man. And I get 10 people, 7 people, and they do 3 days. We will achieve the same result. He's trying to kill himself for 40 days by sharing the body. So you have a very heavy load here. Do you know what was going on here? Genocide. This is the first time a Hitler tried to wipe out the Jewish people. His name was Haman. And the law has been passed. He's gotten the king to sign it. It was almost, and they said the law of Persia, that is irreversible. Once they sign seal without ring, it's irreversible. And these people have to deploy a means to survive. And so it was fasting. This is the right place to declare 40 days now. Because after all, you're all going to die. But with corporate effort and 3 days, they achieved the result. Do you want to announce the number of days you did, or do you want a result? Result is what you want. I have checked the whole of New Testament. I have checked the whole of Old Testament. Anytime they do the total fast, the ultimate is 3 days. Paul the Apostle, 3 days. He also did long fast, up to 28 days. He recorded once, but that's water, drinking water. But what we do in Dominion City is that we find balance. I want people to be spiritual, but we also want them to be healthy. So we find balance and guide people. For example, as you get older, some of these long or whatever, you should stay away from it. Stay away from it. Do something that is reasonable. You know what some young people can do when they are young in the gym? As you get older, you will wound your leg or wound your arm because you're trying to lift. You should do something, whatever, to keep you healthy. Don't go to the extremes. There are some things younger people can do. And I'm in my 50s. There are some radical things because I gave my life to Christ early. That was 12 years. I was 12 years. It started in secondary school. At the university level, there are some radical things out of the university. as you get older, there are some extremes you should stay away from. Leave young people. Another one, if you have some health problems like diabetes. You know, a person with diabetes, you are having problem with sugar, but at the same time, you stay away completely without sugar, you go into crisis. Do you know? So even when they say, you have to check what is suitable for you. Don't go and say you are attending church. Don't go and say you are attending church and go and kill yourself. If you do it right, after a while, it will even help you normalize your blood sugar. Elderly people, for example, not really elderly people, people with diabetic problem. Sometimes you see them keep biscuits in their. On one hand, you are trying to stop them from sugar and excess sugar, but you keep, because at certain times the body starts giving signal. They need to eat it, put sugar in their system, the thing calms down. If not, they will go into crisis. So I'm going to now show you something. And that's what we do here. There's even a third fast. Please, one more guy. A third fast. Now, you will not find it in the Bible directly, but wisdom now advises that we teach it. These three are taught in the Bible. Partial, water fast, and then the total fast. Okay, but this one is not up, but medical doctors started bringing it up because of the benefit of fasting. They call this one intermittent fast. Now, it is similar to partial fast. So, in case you look for it in the Bible, you don't find it, just group it under partial fast, a branch of partial fast. Because what they're saying here is, you just find certain hours, certain number of hours where you don't let food go into your mouth. This is one way you can start practicing it today. From 6 in the evening, no more eating. Till morning. If you do this from 6 to 6 in the morning, that's if you are the type that rise early. Why should you eat breakfast by 6? Some people, that's because of how they go out. No problem. But if it's me, I'd rather ask them put that tea or whatever in the office when I get there. So at least, let your stomach rest till 7. But if it's 6 to 6 in the morning, what it means now, you are doing every day 12 hours of fast. You see what we call intermittent. 12 hours of fast. Your stomach is able to rest for 12 hours. Do you know what they call that morning food? Breakfast. Is that you are breaking a fast. As if God put that compulsory thing on human beings and maybe other types of creation. So when the sun goes down, why didn't he make life on earth like in heaven where there is no night? We will walk ourselves to death. So when the sun goes down, we can stop eating. In the olden days, I lived in the village for 3 years with my grandmother before she passed when I was in secondary school. So you see, when the sun goes down, they tell us folk tales, there are some other activities, and we go to sleep. So 7 p.m. maximum, you've eaten you go to sleep. We don't have TV all night. So in those days, NTA starts, was it 4 p.m.? 4 p.m. Da-da-da-da-da-da, they sing all those, their national anthem and all that. Then, when it gets around 7, it's junior lights, everybody needs to go. It's only parents that watch, or adults that watch. Today is 24 hours. So you stay awake 12 midnight, you are still watching, and to sustain that lifestyle, popcorn, these things are terrible. Do you want to live long? My grandmother lived till 100. What is wrong with this our generation? 40, 50. Then if you get to 60, you are... These days now, once you cross 70, everybody start clapping for you. You are old. You are not. When God reduced man's lifespan, we used to live up to 1,000 years, 900 and something years. His decree was that the lifespan is reduced to 120. So 120 is 12 midnights. You go to sleep in the night. 6 p.m. is evening. 7 p.m. it's dark. You can start sleeping. So if you want to die, choose between 7 and 12 midnight. That's between 70 years and 120 years. Within that range. That is biblical old age. But you should know that that 7 p.m. is just the beginning. That's not when people go to sleep. Don't you know that everywhere in the Bible, they talk about people passing, that they sleep? Is that not what the Bible says? Because sleeping is practicing death. God put that to warn you that there is eternity. And if you think life ends here, when we all die, it ends. There is nothing after. Who is that other person that goes to the village when you are lying down? Who is that one that sometimes something is pursuing, and sometimes when they catch you, they are trying to choke light over, and then you wake up, you are panting? Who is that person? How can you be here and be in the village? That's your human spirit. God is letting you know that you are more than flesh. And it's because that there is that other person that witches can hit people. You know, they kill some people there, then they show up, some of them die, they don't wake up. They shoot some people arrow, they wake up, sickness starts. There are two dimensions to you. There is the inward man, the spirit man that is inside. There is a body. You say, I'm an atheist, I don't believe. Once it's just like cocoyam. Once you die, it has ended. Okay. Everybody can be an atheist until he gets to his deathbed. They always change their mind. They start crying. They start when the horrors of death start approaching. And some of them cry for mercy, but it's too late. So each time you wake up, sleep and wake up, please say thank you to Baba. Some people have gone there and continued from there. It's like industrial attachment. You are practicing journey to eternity. It's put there to let you know. And then sleep has other benefits for your body too, so the body can rest. The late Justice Oputa, he came to speak for us, one of our national youth summits and all of that. And at the end of the conference, when he came, the stage was a little high and there was a step. So when it was his turn to speak, I came to give him a helping hand. He was 93 at that time. 93, if I'm correct, or 91. 93. I came to give him a helping hand. He said, Pastor, no, I can't help myself. I walk. Don't need your... And climb up. Made one of the most brilliant presentations we have ever had in the youth summit. And I was watching. And I was praying for myself. If old age, you can get it by laying on your hands, I would have gone to kneel down so he can pass it to me. Even though the blessing of elders are very important. But so later at the end of the program, I went to the house to go and chat with him. And he said, Pastor, you want it's long life that you're discussing. You are the one that should be telling me how to live long. Then he listed for me 3 basic laws. He said they are from the Bible, but this last one that he's going to mention, that once it is 7 p.m., nothing called food enters his mouth. I think he even said it was 6 p.m. or 7. He said the less you eat, the longer you live. He said, don't you understand it? I said, no, sir. He said, a lot of people, their body is like generator that is working 24 hours. Car that is working 24 hours. It will break down now. You see, you don't have 2 gens. So when you use this one, you turn off half there, turn on the other one. So what you do is turn off giving that body assignment. When you go to sleep, let your stomach rest. By the time you finish loading by 9 p.m., 10 p.m., your stomach is working while you are sleeping. It's trying to break down all the things you stuffed in. And then he said, there are times I even put things in my mouth beyond this time, but go check. It will either be fruit or something vegetable, something natural that will not disturb your body. Then he talked about some other things like meat, how to cut down red meat, a couple of other things. But just that discipline of intermittent fast. So now, beyond this one that God imposed on us by himself, you can now have intermittent. You can choose sometime this whole week. I only eat by 12, something soft, maybe natural 12. No, that into 12 next year. 12 next day. 12 noon today to 12 noon tomorrow is how many hours? It's 24 hours. So you are fasting. Tomorrow again, you take some of those light things, and then you do this over a week, 2 weeks, or whatever. People see you, you'll be glowing. Your youth is renewed. They'll be wondering, what's going on? You do it for 3 weeks. You see how people can go long? Yet they are fasting. You clear off all the junk eating. You will shed off years, shed off a lot of issues that are going wrong with your body. So compare that to Daniel fast, which is partial fast. God bless you, sir. I've tried for them on that one. You can decide that I'm not doing 24 hours, I'm doing 18 hours every day. And you do it over a period of time, you get tremendous results. Okay, watch this one now. This is partial fast, and that's where I want to end this. We still have 2 weeks to the end of January, so you can still get more benefits. The retreat will end tomorrow, but this January thing continues to the end of January. But different things for different people. Okay. Daniel chapter 1 verse 8. This guy started this while they were in school. I started my own practice while I was in school, but I didn't have all this knowledge. I should have gained more knowledge, more benefits than what I gained, because mainly the fasts were basically for to grow spiritual stamina in the university. And UNN, that's the school I went to, had mountains around it. So we'll just carry water. We'll come in to school a week before the rest of the students resume, carry water. There's a group of us who go up on top of the mountain. We go call it mountain and stay there and fast 7 days. School resumption that we come in down and join this. But we are not normal students, but because we carry anointing when we step into school. So a lot of things were going on. So we were studying the same course, but when some other issues come up, we can handle it, they can't. But there are other benefits that I didn't know about at that time. But Daniel proposed in his heart that he will not defile himself with a portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore, he requested the eunuch that they might not defile themselves, with all that. Part of the reason behind this is the offering of food to idols. They used to practice it at that time, so they didn't want to. But then part of also The reason is that those Hebrew boys have been raised with this culture. So look at the request they made. So they requested, go on, follow me. They requested. God gave them favor. Okay, these are part of what will come out from fasting and tender love with the prince of the Enoch. Verse 10. And the prince of the Enoch said to Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who has appointed your meat and your drink. Why will he see your face? Worse liking than the children of your son, because they are in school, a lot of young people. Then you will endanger my head to the king. The man will behead me. Because he will see you are not eating well, you look. So we're talking about the physical impact of fasting. Now, watch. So Daniel said, yes, the next verse. And Daniel said to him, prove your servant, I beseech you, for 10 days. Just 10 days fast can show a visible difference. But it's partial fast. Test us for 7 days. Give us pause to eat and water to drink. What is pause? Another translation so that you will see what it is. Vegetables. Put it up. Another translation. Let them see. Give us vegetables to eat and water to drink. You see what Daniel fast is? It's not water fast. You eat natural things. Fruits, vegetables. You get rid of meat. Get rid of all this sugary stuff. Get rid of all this, your canned food. Get rid of all these things that are loading your body with toxins. You heard Pastor Ben talk about it. Get rid of meat. There are some people who try to eat some animal stuff during this, but it has to be fish products. The usual thing is to get rid of it. But certain people, they have some health challenges that require certain things in their body. So they get it from fish. The truth is also that some of them, you can get it from plants. So they told the man in charge of the school, in charge of their training, just do 10 days examination. Then you come and check us. If we look emaciated and all of that, then you can force us to eat the food. So watch what happened. Yes, next verse. At the end, okay, let our countenance be looked upon before and the countenance of all the children that eat the portion of the king's meat. As you see, deal with your servant. Verse 14. So he agreed to them. Yeah. So he agreed. Do you see that? The other one will say he consented. He agreed to this and tested them for 10 days. At the end of the 10 days, they look healthier, better nourished than any of the young men who ate the royal food. How can people who have just gone through 10 days of fast look more nourished, look healthier? Now, not the people eating all the junk food, drinking alcohol and misbehaving, oily food, stocking up all sorts of things on their body. You see it. So I want you to be able to put up that scripture. Physical exercise profits little. Paul was teaching Timothy something. Then he says spiritual exercise has all-round benefit. It will give you both spiritual and physical benefit. It is from this angle that we teach here. We don't want people pursuing spiritual excellence and harm their health. And I'm emphasizing this so that a lot of you are leaders, you leave, you go back to your station. You have to be aware of whatever you are doing at any time. That you are presenting a balanced approach to the scriptures. Don't harm people with excess. Bodily exercise. So, profited little. And I'm surprised that the Bible calls it little. Because I exercise. What is that little? Physical health and vitality. A lot of other things it does. Your mind is clogged up. You begin, just do some exercise. Everywhere will clear up. There's a hormone is secreted that your body will secrete. They call it the feel-good hormone. But godliness is profitable unto all things. So, having benefit for the life that we're living now and for that which is to come. So it's not only for eternity or my spiritual life, I will benefit all around. So when you are going to do spiritual discipline like fasting, make sure you are getting other benefits that are non-spiritual like health, as well as the spiritual benefits you want to get. Now I'm just showing you from Daniel. Health-wise, the guys were much better. Do you know that this gentleman lived, he was around 17 here when Babylonian captivity came. He worked in 4 administrations, governments. It started with Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar, Darius, Cyrus, until the decree was passed for the children of Israel to return back to the promised land after 70 years of captivity. At the time they were returning, he didn't return because he was a prime minister. But he helped to make arrangements for them to go. The guy was still there. About 87 years to 90 years, he was still working in government. Dr. Tanner was proving a number of the people he trained. He's a medical doctor, very, especially a number of the people, including doctors, most of them lived into their 90s. A lot of them became, cross 100. Prove your servant. What does prove? I will be doing explanation. It means test, examine us. Compare our appearance with that of the young men that eat the royal food. Treat your servant in accordance with what you see. And at the end of the day, the next verse. So he agreed to this. Anyway, at the end of the day, next verse. At the end of the 10 days, they look healthier and better nourished than all the young men that ate. And so the man now released them to do whatever they want. So you will see, even when he was still in office as a prime minister, he kept practicing this type of fast. So we call it, okay, but let me show you the benefits. Verse 17. I want you to watch the benefit. You've seen the health benefit. To these 4 young men that practiced this fast, God gave them knowledge. Did you hear somebody saying that it affects your mental capacity too? God gave them knowledge, understanding on all kinds of literature and learning. So science, one translation says both science and arts. Then apart from excellence in the academics and anything at all that has to do with intellectual development, watch another thing that happened. Daniel could understand visions and dreams. So he broke into spiritual gifts, revelation. That's how he became a prophet. From partial fast, see the type of spiritual gifts and intellectual exploits. So today, when we talk about marketplace professionals and excellence, we talk about Joseph and Daniel. And it's the same principle that produced Joseph. You want to be a Daniel in government, a Daniel in the marketplace. Do you see the secret? Now, why don't we start it this January? Now, you see that thing that took them probably a longer time to achieve. Another person will want to do concentrated. Maybe 3 days, no water, no. But I won't do it. I won't do it. I will not do no water fast because of the level of knowledge I have. I used to do it, but I will not do it. Because what's the use of having an unflushed toilet so that I can have spiritual breakthrough when I can still achieve it and still have a clean body and a healthier body? What's the use? Are you now, when God was questioning the devil in his fall, he said, are you wiser than Daniel? Do you want me to read it for you? You want me to read it? How many of you have read it? Let me be sure. Okay. Let's say it differently. God said, he put Daniel's wisdom almost as high at par with Lucifer's wisdom. He said, you are wiser than... Okay. So verse 18. Look at that. Verse 18. At the end of the time set by the king to bring them into his service. They're going into public service now. Going into government. The chief officials presented them. There were a lot, hundreds of young people. Only 4 stood out. Everybody took the same courses, got the same thing, but these 4 were doing something else. And they are the ones that stood out. Watch. When they presented it before the king, verse 19. The king talked with them, and he found none to equal Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, so they entered the king's service. Then the next verse, 20. In every matter of wisdom and understanding, which the king questioned them, he found them how many times better? 10 times better than their classmates. 10 times better than all the magicians and enchanters in the whole wisdom, the whole kingdom. Now, just move this forward to Daniel in government now. By this time, he's a prime minister. But he keeps maintaining a lifestyle of fasting. Look at him now in Daniel chapter 10, just verse 1 and 2. I want you to see. In those days, in the 3rd year of Cyrus. So the original king was Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar left office. His son Belshazzar came. Daniel was brought up again. Belshazzar left. Now, in the time of Cyrus, the Persian, a revelation was given to Daniel. Now, this is gift of the Spirit, who was called Belshazzar. The message was true, and it concerns a great war. The understanding of the message came to him in a vision. Can you imagine being able to know things before it happens? Whether it's in a country, in the marketplace, you're able to have foresight, prophetic foresight, and you're also giving strategies for escape to start gaining some of those things. I want you guys to know how I started breaking into those things. This is the key. Verse 2. Look at what Daniel was doing. At that time, I, Daniel, mourned for how long? 3 full weeks. That's why most of the time when we recommend Daniel fast, you hear a lot of people recommend 21 days. Yeah. When he said mourned, he's talking about fasting. There are some extra things he did. I will not recommend that today because Jesus has balanced that one. But we check verse 3 for them. Let them see. I ate no choice food. You should. In the days it was no meat or wine entered my lips. I used no lotion at all until the 3 weeks were over. That's the part I said you need to balance. If you're going to be going to office, if you're going to go to work, unless you have 3 weeks to stay away from people, use deodorants, use lotion. Jesus said, let nobody even know that you're fasting. Don't go and be advertising. Take your bath and all of that. But I will tell you some of the things I have learned from going to Israel. You see this one they call dry fast. The Jewish rabbis, when they want to do it, they don't even bath. Oh yes. It said no contact. This is their own. No contact with water. They don't drink it internally. They don't also soak their leg in water. They say your body will absorb water. They don't also take their bath. They said when you are fasting, you get to a point, even your body will absorb some. They do no contact. It's serious. Actually, let me even tell you another thing that they do. Sometimes there are situations where people are showing God how desperate the situation is. They wear sackcloth. Okay, let's use a term that everybody can relate. Do you know people that are mourning, like where people died? I know today we turn it to fashion. It has almost become like another fashion parade. That's not what... You wear something to show that you are sad, that you lost a loved one, Black is a good example. There are some other things, They dress like people who are mourning. Of course, let me even show you another extreme that they do. The Jews, they put ash on their head. Like if it is a desperate national situation, a desperate situation, or maybe where they are using fast to show God repentance. They've done something wrong. Yes. That's why the Bible keeps calling fasting chastises, to chastise yourself. So Jesus has balanced. If you're going to, unless you're going to stay indoors, but there is a principle there that I need to bring out. And that principle still stands. The principle is, if your woman is given to makeups or this, whatever, you say you are fasting, and you are still into this, your fashion thing. You are not. Because in fasting, the first law is to humble yourself. You are not. You are not showing any sign of humility. You will go to salon, do your nails, look like masquerade. What you're communicating in the spiritual realm is that you are not even, because it's not just food. There are a set of attitudes that go along with it. Hello. Humble yourself before God. And then a lot of benefits will follow it. So when he's saying, no, I didn't use any perfume, I didn't use any lotion, I didn't use all that. If you're going to go out to deal with people, first of all, brush your mouth to start with. Your mouth is smelling. If you're fasting, you need to know that. Take your bath. This is, then, if you want to use deodorants or that, do that. Because sometimes your body is secreting toxins, especially if it's water fast. The tendency to smell will be higher. What is serving you guys now is that you are in Harmattan season. This fast is going on in Harmattan. If it's during heat, your body is excreting things. So take your bath. Then go do your work. And people who are busy, like I see politicians here, see some of you, and you're a politician, you are campaigning, you are whatever, and you still want to be fasting and all that. Learn from Daniel or a public officer. Don't go and declare dry fast. You will faint in a campaign ground. As a preacher, there are times I'm running crusades, I'm running and all that, and I'm still fasting. No. When I was younger, I would ignore. I know the rules, and I know what and what to combine. That's why we're teaching you the three. Don't be, how to combine. You know how doctors combine this drug and this to deliver. So I know what to combine very well. Because when you finish, you jump on the stage, you are ministering to people all through, and you are screaming out. Pastors are passing out and all that. Oga, live long so you can do your ministry. Don't think you're on dry and you are preaching. If you are going to have a retreat, you can take time off from work to do that. Find what fits that you can do some other higher things. If you're going to be running up and down, my advice for you is make sure that it's within these two range. And even when it's this, don't take it too far. Don't take it too far. Within the... But the beauty of water fast is that after the third day, fourth day, hunger vanishes. You will have strength and you can do your work. But the first 3 days, it will disturb you. It will disturb you. Your body will fight. After it, hunger even vanishes, and you will have energy. You will be able to do your work. But don't have very hectic schedules and you say you are doing 28 days water fast. Because those things you're doing require energy now. You can switch to Daniel and still get your results. Is this clear enough? God bless you guys.